Hey everybody, Nikki Burnett here. Today's Taste Life Nutrition Radio and podcast. Um, I am doing things a little bit differently, and so forgive me because if it looks funny, it's because I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, we as often, or not often, but what can happen is we have a show that we've prepared for, we've got everything ready to go, we've done all the marketing, and what happens is something happens and there's a no-show. So, my prayer always is that everything is okay. I thought we were going to have Clarissa Burt on today. And that on top of just having, a few technical issues and things like that, gets me a little verklempt, but that's okay. We'll work through it no matter what. So what we decided to do is kind of give a little bit of an overview of some things that I've been doing and some things that I think are exciting that are coming up. It's kind of a little bit of promotional, but I'm doing some collaborations with some other practitioners and some events to get out in the world more, right? To get more goodness out there and to partner with people and to do what we can to spread the good word of good health and what it looks like to have good health because it's so individual. It's so individual for everyone. So I have multiple events and talks coming up over the next couple of months. So I think the first one I want to cover just real quick is going to be a webinar. I'm going to just do this in sort of my order so I can keep it straight in my head. But this webinar is open to everyone. Now, it is focused on women, and it's specific to hormones and the estrobolome. So there's a company that I'm collaborating with called GHE Health or GHE Wellness. I'm sorry. They are a software company focused on women's health. And so when I say women's health, it really is the span from being younger, and maybe you are just starting your period to moving into your time where you're thinking about getting pregnant, and then moving into the menopausal phase, right? So all things that we need to understand, things that we need to focus on, and talk about, because there's so much that we don't know, and these are things that I think are really important for us to talk about. So anyway, these things I think are going to guide women as they start to move through the different phases of life, and I think it's beneficial to have the information. So you can do a couple of things. Make sure I have all my stuff in front of me here, but you can go to ghe.com and you can sign up under ghe.com. What I'll do is I'll put the links in all of the notes so you have it. But you can sign up there and you can go and register for the webinar. I'll put this on the notes as well, but you can register for the webinar on Monday at noon Mountain Time. And so we're talking specifically about cleaning, like house cleaning, right? So this is springtime and it's beautiful outside. And we get in this place where we want to do some deep spring cleaning. Spring cleaning looks like, how are we getting rid of the toxins that are in our environment? How are we getting rid of the toxins that are creating this load on our body and impacting our estrobolomes? Our estrobolome is these specific bugs in our microbiome that help us to manage estrogen. And so that can get totally out of whack, creating all kinds of symptoms, right? So we think of our hormones as just, well, it's these, because I'll talk about this, hormones are communicators. They come from the endocrine system, right? But if our microbiome is not well intact, then that can impact our estrogen metabolism and estrogen elimination. And does our estrogen just keep getting recirculated, right? Does it creating all kinds of problems? So we want to support our microbiome in order to support our hormone, our hormones, our innate hormones. We want to make sure that we're not, we don't have this excess of exogenous estrogen also that's coming into the body that can create a lot of problems for us. So I will put the Eventbrite link in here so you can attend that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We did a webinar a couple of weeks ago similar, but talking specifically about the gut and spring cleaning. So you can have access to that also if you are in GHE. So, and we'll do multiple webinars, right? There are, lots of partnerships with GHE, and, I am enjoying doing, my piece of this. So, lots of really fun collaboration there. So check them out. Then on Tuesday, I work closely with a group called Vive Well Health. So Vive Well Health is a regenerative medicine clinic, expanding like crazy, doing crazy cool work. I've had Dr. Ben Bush on with me before. He'll be back on with me here in a couple of weeks. But we're doing something that's a little bit unique, where we're doing a webinar for couples and people who are looking to get pregnant. And it's not so yes, it's about fertility, but it really is about preconception planning. It really is about bringing health into the picture and getting the best that you can possibly be prior to, and I say prior to, I'm talking like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year prior to actually trying to get pregnant. Get as healthy as possible for both of you, for mom, for dad. Get healthy as possible. Start removing the chemicals. Start allowing the body to detoxify properly. Start supporting your endocrine system and your sperm production and your egg production and your hormones. And if you have PMS, or if sperm count is low, I mean, we've got a real problem right now with men and their testosterone being low, and there's little swimmers are not swimming as well as they should, right? There are a lot of reasons for that, but we need to address that because it's a huge problem. Fertility in men has dropped like 50% in the last 60 years. It's insane. And so we are doing this webinar for those who are looking to get pregnant, but then we're also doing this in person for providers. So super excited about that. So we're going to have providers come in, and have a little bit of fun with them, but also hopefully give some really great information. The cool thing about Vive Well Health is what they are offering as far as what can be done to help to support preconception planning, right? So when we look at, if we're looking at doing labs, right, we need to understand the labs and detoxification processes and, what the body is being inundated with so we can clear that stuff out, right? Are hormone levels optimal? Is sperm optimal? What is it that we can do? And this is where the regenerative medicine comes in to support the testes as well as the ovaries to create good, healthy cells. And this is where Vive Well Health shines, right? Because they bring in the things that are the new and improved, that are beyond what I even knew was possible, right? Which is really cool. And so this is part of what we talk about with the clinicians, is the regenerative piece, a regenerative component to it, where, I come in and I'm talking the lifestyle and the nutrition and all of these basic foundational components that are really important for preconception planning. But, Vive Well, they can do the chelation therapy, they can do the EBU, they can do these regenerative procedures that can really take it to the next level. So it's a really cool collaboration, really cool partnership. I'm really excited about this talk. It's going to be a ton of fun. And so that's coming up. Let's see. Tuesday, I think it's 5 o'clock, Tuesday, 5 o'clock. So we'll have the webinar. I will post that as well for those who are looking to join the webinar, who are looking to get pregnant. And then, of course, for those who are the clinicians joining live, sending that link out to them as well. So again, I'll have all of that posted. Let's see.
You hear twice that much. You're part of this somewhere.
Want to see if, let's see.
It's right here, fine.
Anyway, I'm hearing other noises that I'm not supposed to be hearing. Anyway, so anyway, let's look at I'll post everything that I can, so anybody who wants to have access to this can join us. So that's going to be it's going to be a ton of fun. Sorry, I get distracted. Okay, so then I have on Thursday, the following week, I'm doing a talk. So there's a group called the Polka Dot Powerhouse. If you don't know the Polka Dot Powerhouse, it's a funny name. Yes, it is. But they do a lot of cool networking for women specifically. And I am doing a talk for them Thursday evening, I believe at 5:30. That is a live event. So doing a talk for them, and it is specifically on epigenetics. Let's see, where did it go? It is called Connect and Thrive, 6 p.m. on Thursday. So it's a live event. What your genes are listening, what your epigenetics tells us about food stress and cellular intelligence. So of course, if you know me, you know that epigenetics is kind of my game. And I love every piece of it. I love the power that it gives to us. And everything basically that I do is going to be around the epigenome. So that includes the other two talks that I'm doing, right? The talk with ViveWell, big piece of this is epigenetics. In my hormone talk on, the webinar on Monday, a big piece of it's epigenetics because it plays such a huge role in everything that we are. So we'll be talking about that. And then I think the following week on Thursday, I will be doing a live talk for a group called Her Marketing Hour. And so that's a little coffee house called the Goldfinch. So if you're here in Denver, the Goldfinch is a really cool little coffee house downtown. And so it is, let's see, Her Market Hour, Thursday, May 28th, 3 to 5. So it's kind of that cocktail hour. Kind of a similar discussion where we want to talk about how the epigenome really, has an impact in who we are, how it plays out in our health today and for the future, and how we can place it, have such an impact on, how we can fully optimize. What does it mean to fully optimize our health and wellness, and then what does it look like to impact our future, right? So we're not just making decisions for today. We're making decisions for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 70 years down the road in everything that we do. And it's amazing. And nobody is expected to be perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, but having the knowledge and the understanding that my decisions are impacting my future, but then also going back to the epigenetic talk for those who are planning on trying to get pregnant, it impacts your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids, right? It goes on down the line. It's fascinating stuff. So this is the stuff that I will be talking about. I also have then, although it's not on the calendar yet, but I believe it is June. Oh, shoot. This is the one thing that I don't have pulled up right now. It's a live hormone talk where I'm partnering with a friend of mine. Angela is a hormone specialist. And like, she's awesome, like the bioidentical hormone specialist. And she's been studying this for years and years and years and years. And I love this because I've been looking for someone like her to refer to and to partner with for a long time. And she's amazing at what she does. And so she and I are doing a hormone talk coming up. It's a live talk at a, see, I don't have it in front of me. I'm going to have to post it, but it's a live talk at a little wine bar in Golden, Colorado. So again, it's another live one, really cool little wine bar. I think it's called Maine. Anyway, forgive me. This is what happens when you're not prepared, right? I didn't know any of this was going to be happening, but that's okay. So you can join us there, especially if you're in Colorado. My plan also will be to have that live streamed as well. I think that that's something that we'll start doing more with KUHS, is some of these events. So there's more access and more reach. We'll have KUHS come out and do some live streamings for these events as well. So we can get them out to the local community, but we're also going to be able to push them out to the rest of those who want to have access to it as well, and have some fun with it, right? So anyway, that's kind of where we are. I'm a little bit early. I was going to try to do this for about 30 minutes, but maybe we'll do this. So let's do this, because the big event probably, I don't know, the one that is the live event with ViveWell coming up. Maybe I give a little bit more info on kind of where I'm going with that, because this is the stuff that, when we're looking at preparing for pregnancy, we're really looking at building the foundations for life. And that is the name of this talk. It's building the foundations for life. It's the name of the program that ViveWell has available to people who are couples who are looking to do that planning for pregnancy, because it is so focused on, let's take the time, let's take your body and what it's capable of and just really optimize that. So we're looking at the individual person and what that person needs and what that couple needs in order to conceive, right? And to create and that's the biggest thing too, is it's not just about conception, it's about the quality of the egg and the quality of the sperm and getting the best goodness you can in each of those. And so, we want to, like, said this a little bit, but we want to look at detoxification and oxidative stress and cellular membrane repair, and then going back to the personalized regenerative support, right? So all of the things that they do. So everything that we do comes from the data when it comes to what's the best way to promote health of the sperm and the egg, and that certainly is going to be to promote the health of mom and dad. So if we're redefining what preconception looks like, it's not just going and getting pregnant. Obviously that happens, but let's plan for it and let's make sure that we're doing the best that we can for it. So we want to look at starting, I think at minimum 3 months. In my mind, the longer we take, the better it can be, right? And I have a lot of people who come to me and they're like, I need to do this now. My clock is ticking. I don't have any choice, but we got to get it done now. And what I would say is taking a few months to make sure that you're in the right place. The best place you can be is going to help bring the best outcomes. And that's something that we really want to, I think, take to heart. And also knowing that this is a shared responsibility. This is mom and dad. This is not just one person. This is both together who want to have this optimal health and make sure that the burdens are taken off the body as best as possible, so we can have strong semen, strong sperm, and strong eggs. So other things, there are these core biological pillars that we can look at when we're looking at preconception planning. Mitochondrial function. So we'll dig into what mitochondrial function is, what the mitochondria are, but if you go back to, probably 7th grade biology, we're looking at the little powerhouses of the cells, right? And we might have several hundred to, I don't know, several thousand to several million per cell, depending on the how much work that cell has to do. So say our heart and our brain, they have so many mitochondria in them because we're using them all the time. And so we want to support the mitochondria so it can create that energy to do the cells, so that organ system has the ability to do its job properly. So if we're struggling with mitochondrial dysfunction, what happens a lot, so that mitochondrial dysfunction can cause fatigue and symptoms and dysfunction, right? Mitochondrial dysfunction is a cascade of symptoms, no matter what it is. So it can be pain, it can be inflammation, it can be disease, full on disease. So this is mitochondrial dysfunction. So supporting the mitochondria is super important. Oxidative stress, we've got oxidative stress. It's a natural part of the body. It's a natural part of cellular function. But if we have too much and we're not taking in enough antioxidants and we don't have the capacity to squash that fire the way that as we should, then oxidative stress can go overload and lead to mitochondrial dysfunction, right? So this is important because it can damage cells, it can damage DNA, it can damage it can be problematic when it comes to our sperm cells and our egg cells. So that is a huge piece. If we have a big toxic burden, which is something that we see in clinic all the time, we see, heavy metals and pesticides and herbicides and BCPs and all of these things that are pushing this oxidative stress. which is going to push the lack of quality in the eggs and the sperm. And that just goes into, again, back to detoxification, right? So if we are detoxifying properly, that's great. But if we don't have the microbiome set in place to support estrogen detoxification, if we've got certain SNPs, which are the epigenetic variants that don't allow for proper detoxification, or that just need to be supported to allow proper detoxification, right? If we're overloaded with the metals and the toxins, then, we've got to be able to move that stuff through. And so that's where ViveWell comes in and does great work as far as the, like I said, the chelation therapy, the ozone therapy. Ozone is so cool. And then the other therapies that they're doing as well. There's so many, but they're all individualized to what each person needs, of course. And then, of course, we have metabolic health. We've got hormonal signaling, gut and immune function. All of these things are so interrelated. Stress and nervous system, right? If we are so stressed because we got to get this done now, we got to get pregnant now, that just creates a burden on the body, and also can create dysfunction in cellular health and cellular integrity. So we want to be in this place where we are, I always like to think of it as kind of just taking the step back and going, okay, I'm in this place right now. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my body. I'm not in a big rush. I'm calming my nervous system. I'm going inside, right? I would say this to men and women as well. Just go inside a bit to know that what you're doing is helping your body to do its job. Because that's really all it wants to do, is to do its job. So we've got to support that. So really working on stress management, how you talk to yourself, what your relationships look like, financial stresses, all of those things play such a big role in preconception planning, fertility, pregnancy, the whole thing, right? And then, of course, sleep, circadian rhythm. How's your sleep? Stress influences that as well. I think we all know that. So making sure that we're getting enough sleep, that we're getting enough quality sleep. I hear so often, the mind just can race and race and race, and that can be really difficult on letting the body to heal and to recover, because if we're not sleeping and healing and recovering, then it just goes on down the line, right? It creates more stress, it creates more inflammation, creates more dysfunction, creates more mitochondrial dysfunction, right? It goes down the line to all the things that we've already just talked about. And then I know I said this, but this is something that's important, that kind of is a string throughout most of the things that I talk about, right? Is your environment, your internal, like think about your home. What are you washing your clothes with? What are you putting on your skin? What are you putting in your body? What are you cleaning your floors with, right? Do you have the little plugins that are, these smelly plugins that are just magnificently toxic, right? I mean, they're pretty terrible. So let's see, thinking about those things and really cleaning up the food, cleaning up the refrigerator, cleaning up your environment. That is the stuff that is really key to allowing for a body to be as optimal as possible for creating little babies, right? Okay, so I think though we're probably at a pretty good stopping point. Let's see if I can I want to see if there's anything here that, well, let's do this. So I'm at a point now where I have some of the services that that are the targeted regenerative support that ViveWell does in order to help promote preconception planning. And so if I'm looking at this, we have we talked about the things that I do, but for detox support, right? So we've got talked about the intravenous chelation therapy. We've got oxidative balance. So this is intravenous ozone, or major autohemotherapy, right? It supports oxygenation, immune modulation, reduction of inflammation, and has potential benefits for reproductive tissues, right? Pretty cool stuff. So cellular membrane repair. So we've got intravenous phospholipids, which is phosphatidylcholine, which supports, restores membrane integrity, supports mitochondrial function, aids in toxin export. All right, so then we have regenerative signaling. This is really cool stuff. So autologous platelet therapies deliver growth factors and bioactive molecules systemically, supporting anti-inflammatory effects and tissue repair relevant to fertility optimization. I mean, this is cool stuff, right? If you're really looking to make a huge difference and a huge impact in your fertility, we got to do the basics. We got to do the lifestyle. We got to do the food. We got to do make sure the body is working and functioning properly. We got to work on our nervous system, but then we can ramp it up massively with some of these therapies that Vivewell has available. And you know, some of these therapies you don't just find them anywhere. And he's really, Dr. Ben is really moving the needle when it comes to what he can do to be that cutting edge, most supportive support for people and what their particular needs are. So anyway, I'm excited for this talk. I'm excited to be a part of it, that he's asked me to be a part of it. I'm excited for what Vivewell is doing, but I'm excited for all of these people who I am collaborating with. You know, I'm particular about who I want to collaborate with, and that we're well aligned. And I'm very much aligned with Jihi, very much aligned with Vivewell, very much aligned with Angela, and you know, getting the good word out about what is available to people and how we can support. You know, we go from preconception planning to, you know, perimenopause and menopause. It's sort of this you know, it's kind of wide line, but it all matters, right? So, you know, there are many of us who need hormone replacement therapy earlier in life, and not just when we're perimenopausal or menopausal. And I think it's important to understand we have this foundation. And then we have so many options that so many people don't know about. And that's what's frustrating too, is I think so many of these options that have been available that have also been demonized, that can give us relief, that can help us to have better quality sperm and eggs. All of these things are just, it's the stuff that we need to talk about more, which is why I'm doing this. So I know this probably wasn't the most amazing Taste Life Nutrition Radio and podcast ever, but I do think that it's fun to talk about these things, share with you some of the stuff that I'm doing, know that we're going to be promoting, and know that we're going to do more of this streaming so people have access to this stuff, and to other really great people. So I think we'll end it there. Feel free to let me know if there are questions. I'm going to start posting all of the links to all of these places, so you have access to that as well. As I'll get it to as many places as I can. And then if you have anything that you need from me, then let me know. Feel free to find me, tastelifenutrition.com. You can find us also, the show, at kuhsdenver.com, where you can find the live stream. And then we're the Taste Life Nutrition podcast, where you can find us on your favorite podcast site. So that's what I got. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you. I hope to see you at one, if not many, of the upcoming events that we're doing. All right, see you soon. Bye, y'all.